Hi, I'm in Chicago, Illinois, with Kevin Kloosterman, Stephen Barros, and Devan Hite. And we are about to launch the Chicago chapter of Affirmation. First of all, I wanted to ask Kevin Kloosterman, who till recently was an LDS bishop in his local congregation. Kevin, what was the local reaction when members of the church read that you had been in Salt Lake City during the last Circling the Wagons conference?
Well, I think a few people had heard about it, obviously, because it did reach, the newspapers, and I did call my stake president right away to let him know, and he was very, very kind and understanding, and really, treated me with respect and kindness. He wanted to, kind of get my perspective on what happened there. The Salt Lake Tribune kind of may have wanted to oversell the story a little bit. As one blog said, that it was already an interesting story, and maybe they kind of tried to oversell it a little bit. So, he did, look at my talk, and we talked about it, and he was really, really good about it. And a few other people in the ward had heard about it, and they really said they didn't have a problem with what I said and what I did there, and that was really good. The Sunday following, when I got back home from Salt Lake City, was ward conference. So that happens, once a year, and I'm sure every bishop kind of wonders in the back of his mind, am I going to get sustained? Or, resustained by my congregation, by the ward. And everybody sustained me. So I was happy about that. And, there's probably a lot of people in the ward that didn't know, what I had said, and coming out as an ally. But overall, everyone's been very kind and understanding. And I think the church really did a good job of handling that situation and getting my perspective, and to me that showed a lot of progress in and of itself. So
thank you. Along with other supporters from this area and with Devan Hite and others, there were Mormons marching during the last Pride parade in Chicago. Devan, would you like to say a few words about your experience marching with straight allies at the time?
Well, I was marching with the seminary, so I wasn't marching with the Mormons. Yeah, but that might not be appropriate. That wasn't with any of the Mormon straight allies. Most of the folks that were marching with us, with the seminary, which was probably about maybe 30 or 40 groups ahead of the Mormon group. It's always very, very much a pleasure to be with people who are willing to march with us and show their support. It's something that we really crave, I think, in the gay community. So, yeah. But unfortunately, I didn't really get a chance to taste what was going on in the Mormon side of that.
Approximately how many people were in the group?
there was about 15 people in the group. So we were, pretty small, and we, it was kind of a last minute thing. When I heard of the marches in, Salt Lake and elsewhere, I was like, oh, we got to do this in Chicago,
Sure.
So kind of at the last minute, I called the organizer and some, emailed, actually I emailed him first, and I wasn't really expecting to get a response with that late notice. But he called me probably, or emailed me back, and then we also, talked on the phone, but it was probably only maybe a week before the parade, and he's like, Mormons? Yeah, sure, we'd love to have you, but you're not going to evangelize or anything like that. And I said, no, no repentance signs or, and I'm like, no, that's not what, we're going to be doing. So, I kind of quickly threw it out there on Facebook, And so we got 15 people, and they were all great. We were all really happy to see each other, and we carried a banner in front that said Mormon Allies, and that was great. And some of us were straight, and some of us were gay, and it was just a great, just a really great moment to be there. Very radically different of what I normally would have done on a Sunday. So very, very different. But it was so meaningful because even though in the midst of this big parade with lots of, celebration, there were tears in people's eyes, and I saw people out there, and they were saying thank you to us, and really making eye contact. And so it was a very emotional and very spiritual experience for us, and I can't wait to do it next year.
Yes, of course. Stephen, you and I have recently become Facebook friends.
Yes.
And because of that, I know how excited you are about launching Affirmation Chicago. Why do you want to launch Affirmation Chicago?
Well, to be perfectly honest, this is all still very new to myself, but I think when you think about it, it's actually as complicated as it can be. It's very simple. We want to get this going just for people of all faiths, all orientations, all lifestyles to come together, but primarily, be able to share experiences and stories, and, people who may have lost, touch with their Mormon faith due to choices that they've made or lifestyles that they live. And, since, there are other chapters in a lot of major cities, it's time, that Chicago step up and, we get this going.
So with this, we announce the launching of Affirmation Chicago. We hope that we will see some of you in Seattle this October. And thank you for everything.
Sure.
Thanks, Hugo.